Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and I want to talk about 2024 Avatar Last Airbender versus 2005 Avatar Last Airbender. And I want to talk about this specifically in context to the Lost creator, okay? Which there's a lot of overlap. Understanding Dungeons & Dragons helps us understand Avatar Last Airbender. Understanding Avatar Last Airbender helps us to answer the question, the most important secular question that exists today: what is Dungeons & Dragons? Okay, all right. So what is Dungeons & Dragons? Let's get into it. All right. So Dungeons & Dragons is I love this question. It has become the most secular focus of my life. Right now, I have a sacred focus and I have a secular focus. And the secular is less important than sacred, but this is a big important question to me. What is Dungeons & Dragons? And so Dungeons & Dragons is a legamomon. A legamomon. A legamomon. What is a legamomon? A legamomon is something that has both legacy and momentum. And so in the world today, there are two types of things. There are things, and there are two types of elements. Now I can't use element. There are two types of objects. Let's say it that way. There are things and there are legamomons. Okay, something that has both legacy and momentum. All right. Dungeons & Dragons has both legacy and momentum. So it is a legamomon. Now that is a neologism that is a new word I have created to describe this thing, right? Here's what I'm telling you: the only things that matter today are legamomons. Okay, everything else is just a thing. Here's a good example: OSE, old school essentials, right? Old school essentials, right? That is a tabletop role playing game. It is a thing. It doesn't have legacy. It doesn't have momentum. Right? It's not or maybe on a good week it has a momentum, right? Because they did a new release or something, right? But it doesn't have legacy, right? And there are also things that have legacy but no momentum, right? Pogs were around in the 90s. There's a legacy there. And if you were to look, if you looked up Pogs right now, you would find that there's a really robust history for Pogs. Nobody cares about Pogs today. They don't have momentum. So Dungeons & Dragons is a thing that has legacy and momentum. And every single thing in the world right now every object in the world is trying to stop being a thing and become a legamomon, right? Now, what is another legamomon? Avatar Last Airbender is a legamomon, okay? It has a legacy. It started in 2005. It is now 18 years old, okay? And it's actually 19 years old. It's 19 years old. And in its 19th year, we got 2024 Avatar Last Airbender. And you're like, Scott, that's not 2024 Avatar Last Airbender. That's live action. No, you're wrong. Okay? All right, here's why. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is not a remake. It's not, they're not just remaking the cartoon. That is 2005 Avatar Last Airbender. But 2024 Avatar Last Airbender is its own thing. It is changed fundamentally at its core. It still has a similar shape to 2005 Avatar Last Airbender, but it's really quite different than 2005 Avatar Last Airbender. And the best way to experience 2024 Avatar Last Airbender is to watch 2005 Avatar Last Airbender and then watch 2024 Avatar Last Airbender. But if you never watched Avatar Last Airbender, I highly encourage you to start at 2024 Avatar Last Airbender because it has momentum, right? People are excited about it, right? And you can absolutely enjoy it immediately and never have seen the animated show, right? In fact, I would highly recommend, if you have never watched the animated show, don't immediately go to 2024 Avatar Last immediately go to the Avatar 2024 Avatar Last Airbender and enjoy it. Have a great time, right? You're really gonna love it. I guarantee you, right? Okay. Well, I guess I can't guarantee it, but I have high confidence you're gonna absolutely love it. So let's talk about where Avatar: Last Airbender fits within in the context of Dungeons and Dragons. They both now have lost creators, right? But they don't need them. Right? And they're both just fine without them, right? Okay. So, hey, I'm Scott Garibay. We don't talk about Dungeons and Dragons. We don't talk about Avatar: Last Airbender without talking about the Bible, like, because you got to understand the Bible to understand anything today, right? So the Jews, my favorites, non-American people. I guess they're American Jews, but the Israelites. Let's put it that way. The Israelites. I love the Israelite people. They are an incredible They are a culture of high interest to Scott Garibay, and not just high interest, but high delight. They, they're just cultures I like better than I love American culture, and then my second favorite, and I enjoy all cultures. All cultures of the world are cool, but there's definitely a ranking of interest from Scott Garibay. They're all of equal value, but my interest is not the same, right? So the most interesting culture in the world to me is America, because I'm American, right? So I'm first and foremost interested in American culture. Then I would say I'm interested in Japanese culture. And after that, it would be Israeli culture. I think Israelites are an incredible culture, and I'm pro-Israel. Let's put it that way, right? But the Israelis, their history is literally written into the Holy Bible, right? That's one of the reasons why I'm an evangelical Christian, so that's why they're super high on my list, right? And so they are a really special people to me. Well, they have a guy named Moses. Moses never he led the people through the desert land. He never got into Canaan. He never got into the promised land, okay? Same thing with Gary Gygax. He led Dungeons and Dragons through the wastelands from 1974 to 1986. And then he had to watch while Dungeons and Dragons got carried forward and became epic under Lorraine Williams from 1986 to 1997. That is the real history, in my humble opinion, okay? And he had to watch. He had to sit outside. Well, guess what? Both creators, two gentlemen, I don't know their names, two gentlemen who created Avatar: Last Airbenders, but I am very aware of what just happened. They went to Netflix and they were creating the 2024 Avatar: Last Airbender, which I have seen all of. And by the way, no spoilers for that show in this video, okay? So basically, they went to Netflix and they were like, hey, Netflix, actually Netflix went to them and said, hey, we want to make a 2024 Avatar: Last Airbender. Can we do that? And they're like, yeah, you sure can. So Netflix shows up, they bring the money, and the two creators, they show up and they bring Grump, right? A few months go by, whatever it was, some period of time, and they're like, boo, we don't like what you're doing, Netflix, rah, 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 we're out of here, rah, and just ran off, right? And guess what? They were 100% wrong, right? We now know. We didn't know. We were like, oh, I'm sure those creators ran off for some good reason. They sure did not, because 2024 Avatar: Last Airbender is better by a large margin than 2005 Avatar: Last Airbender. Everything cool in 2005 Avatar: Last Airbender is in 2024 Avatar: Last Airbender, and there's a bunch of hyper cool, awesome things that are in Avatar 2024 Avatar: Last Airbender. So Netflix fully surpassed the creators. And the creators, we're out of here, we don't like this. They were wrong. They were 100% wrong. Netflix knocked it out of the freaking park. And any complaints they had were unreasonable. We know that now, in my humble opinion, right? And so we see this lost creator link between Dungeons & Dragons, right? And Gary Gygax, he was in the wrong too. He should have remained in control of Dungeons & Dragons in 1986. And anyone who tells you that Gary Gygax should have remained in control of Dungeons & Dragons in 1986 just doesn't know history, right? Gary Gygax could not control Dungeons & Dragons in 1986 because he couldn't control himself. He went to Hollywood to create a Dungeons & Dragons movie. He was successful in creating a Dungeons & Dragons Saturday morning cartoon, which wasn't the goal, but was an epic achievement. But he got a very bad habit, very, very bad habit in Hollywood, which made it so that he couldn't control himself, and he couldn't control Dungeons & Dragons, and Dungeons & Dragons had to be saved by Lorraine Williams. That is the correct understanding of history, in my humble opinion. That is the reality of the situation, in my humble opinion. Okay, all right. So so Dungeons & Dragons and Avatar: Last Airbender are the same thing. They are both legamomons, right? Who other people have come out and far surpassed the original creator, right? Gary did incredible things with Dungeons & Dragons, right? But Lorraine Williams surpassed him, right? The creators of Avatar: Last Airbender did incredible things with Avatar: Last Airbender in 2005. Their time is done. They're finished. We don't need them for anything else to do with Avatar: Last Airbender. I don't know their names because I don't need to know their names, right? Like Gary Gygax is a different ball of wax there. I need to know his name because his legacy is still speaking. I think the Avatar: Last Airbender guys, their legacy is done. They are finished. They should have never run off from this. I am incredibly thankful to them for creating it, but they were wrong and Netflix was right. And so this is interesting. What's interesting is these legamomons. Dungeons & Dragons is a legamomon. It's not a thing. It's not like OSE. It's not something forgettable and of low value, right? Like OSE is a copy. It is of low value. It is highly forgettable, right? But Dungeons & Dragons has legacy and momentum, and it's why it beats the OSR and the indie simultaneously at the same time. And now we see another property positioned just like Dungeons & Dragons, and this is a good thing, right? Creators should be shunted off like booster rockets, right? This is how you get a legamomon, okay? What's another legamomon that perfectly fits this? George Lucas's Star Wars. He's just a creator, a booster rocket that gets shunted off as the IP goes to Mars. So we need to understand this. This is very real. Creators, artistic creators, are booster rockets. They fall to the sea, they burn up in re-entry. There is no need for them, right? Now, I do think Gary Gygax is different because he is a polymath and he is saying more dead than he ever did alive, in my humble opinion, right? But I think these are very linked. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. What I really love to hear is to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing and have a wonderful millennium.